Good evening, America. I'm Joan London. This week, we'll look at how the character of America has changed since the death of JFK. Also this week, how to be a smart traveler during the busiest travel week of the year. Plus, Linda Ronstadt, Arnold Palmer, Naomi Judd, and city slicker Billy Crystal this week on Good Morning America. Right now, stay tuned for your local news coming up next.
The American Broadcasting Company, ABC.
What is Gai Choi?
Mustard greens.
What kind of nuts go in Kung Pao chicken?
Cashews and,
How can you get a full-time phone line at a part-time price?
What was that again?
You can't be an expert at everything. With US West Standby Line, you only pay for the time you use plus a small monthly fee. So it's the perfect additional line for faxes, credit cards, or those busy times when you need another phone line. Hey, you know Chinese food.
Forks are for wimps.
And we know phones. The small business group at US West.
As life goes on, everything changes. Everything but your frying pan. Resistol from Tefal. Its long-lasting honeycomb texture inside makes it the slippiest non-stick cookware ever designed. Its exclusive heat expansion channels prevent warping. Resistol from Tefal. Tefal, you've thought of it all.
Spellbound perfume from Estee Lauder. Now choose any Estee Lauder fragrance and receive this 33-piece collection, including an interchangeable compact disc eyeshadow case. The coloring box is yours right now for $32.50. Estee Lauder's special holiday offer is yours at Dayton's.
This is KSTP-TV, Channel 5, St. Paul, Minneapolis. Tonight's top story.
You're looking live at a home in Shoreview. It's one of several murder scenes across the metro area tonight. We've got complete coverage on a very deadly 24 hours. Welcome and thank you for joining us. Our top story, what seems like an epidemic of violence, spreads across the Twin Cities.
The victims include both men and women. The murder scenes range from the inner city to a quiet suburb to the rural metro area. We begin our coverage in Shoreview, where police were called to a home just a couple hours ago.
Reporter Ezra Marcus joins us live from the scene. Ezra, what can you tell us?
Well, Mike, Ramsey County Sheriff's deputies tell us the incident happened at about 8 o'clock this evening in the house behind me. They were called here. Apparently, a son found 2 people dead inside. We don't know what floors of the house they were found in, but apparently both victims were found dead of gunshot wounds. We're not sure what part of the body they were shot in, but we're not sure what time that happened either. But again, we're told that a son did find the 2 people inside. Now, Ramsey County authorities tell us that there is a man in custody in Washington County at this hour. He was caught within the past 30 minutes. They have told us that they do believe he is a suspect in connection with the shooting here. There was also a car on scene, which authorities tell us they are going to tow. They tell us that it was involved in an accident involving the son who found the 2 murder victims inside. They have not told us exactly how the car or the son was involved in the incident, but they tell us they are going to tow the car from the scene and process it for evidence. Back here live, investigators are still working the scene. Deputies tell us that they were going to be out here most of the night working the scene, processing for evidence. The person that they have in custody, we're told, is a man. He is going to be interviewed by investigators in Washington County and later taken to the Ramsey County Jail. The 2 murder victims inside the house will probably be taken to the Ramsey County Medical Examiner's office. Again, that won't happen until late tonight. Very sketchy information right now. Investigators tell us they'll have more for us tomorrow morning. Back to you.
All right. Thanks, Ezra. And, of course, we'll have more on this tomorrow morning on our Witness News.
In another case, Anoka County authorities need your help in solving another weekend murder. It happened near Chamonix Golf Course in Lino Lakes just before midnight last night. A resident of the area found the body of the man lying in the middle of Aqua Lane. Police say the victim was shot several times. The man is described as an Asian male, about 20 years old, 5'6", about 120 pounds. He was wearing a green shirt and jeans and a white baseball hat. The man has several identifying marks, including 4 to 5 surgical scars on his lower back, a 6-point star tattoo on his left hand between his thumb and forefinger. He also has a 3-pronged devil's pitchfork tattoo on his left wrist. And finally, police say he also has a dollar sign on his upper left arm near his elbow. If you have any information, you're asked to call the Anoka County Sheriff's Department.
In Minneapolis, a man walked into the Children's Medical Center tonight and told a guard he just murdered his girlfriend. Police raced to the 2600 block of Chicago Avenue South and discovered the victim in a second-floor apartment. 36-year-old Curtis Osborne was taken into custody. The name of the 41-year-old victim has not been released.
Meantime, just across the border in Polk County, Wisconsin, a man out hunting for deer made a gruesome discovery instead, the body of a small female.
Could it be that of Corinne Erstead, the Inver Grove Heights girl who disappeared in June of 1992? Our reporter Michael Gargiulo has spent the day in Polk County, Wisconsin. He joins us with exclusive information. Michael?
Well, Inga and Mike, the answer right now seems to be no, because the body that they found here, they believe, is that of a woman in her mid-20s, and that would seem to rule out that being the body of Corinne Erstead or Gina North, a missing girl from Fargo, both very prominent missing child cases. It does not, of course, answer the question as to whose body this is. The body was found just off a dirt access road that leads to County Road F near Dresser in Polk County, Wisconsin. Tom McCourt was hunting here Saturday when he made the shocking discovery.
Well, I was looking for a buck that I shot earlier, and I was just peering in the brush piles, and the next thing I know, I found a green pair of pants with a woman, with a body in it.
McCourt says the body was clothed in jeans and a bra or T-shirt. It was not buried and was both decomposed and dismembered. Since it was known that this was the body of a small female, the immediate speculation was that it might be either 5-year-old Corinne Erstead, missing from Inver Grove Heights, or 11-year-old Gina North, who disappeared from her home in Fargo 6 months ago. But Eyewitness News has learned that this body is believed to be of a female much older, perhaps in her early 20s. Beyond that, little else is known.
What we've determined is that we have a body that with significant decomposition. At this point, we're going to have to wait for results from Ramsey County Medical Examiner for age and time of death and cause of death.
While the body may not have been buried, the site is a natural hiding place, obscured from nearby Highway F by both the trees and a pile of rocks. The property's owner, Lynn Buss, believes that it was the change of seasons that made the body visible at all.
All the weeds were down now, so you could see things out there. Otherwise, if it happened earlier this year, the weeds would have been too high to see anything.
And Mike and Inga, we're standing right in the spot where the body was found. Behind me, you can see exactly the trees and the rocks, and County Road F is somewhere behind it, but this is a secluded place. Police right now, what we've heard, believe that this body might have been here from at least a couple of months, quite possibly almost a year. Mike and Inga?
Mike, where does the investigation go from here?
Well, the body was taken to the Ramsey County Medical Examiner in St. Paul, and they're hoping to answer, Inga, the two most immediate questions: who this person is, a positive identification, and perhaps most importantly, the manner of death. Mike and Inga?
Thanks, Michael.
Well, funeral services are set for Tuesday for both 15-year-old Grant Hussey and 30-year-old Stephen Eastburn. The two were found Friday in a parked car near the Bloomington Ferry Bridge in Shakopee. Each died of a gunshot wound. Hussey disappeared last Monday from his job at an Eden Prairie grocery store. Shortly before that, Eastburn had admitted he molested Hussey. Now, special counselors will be on hand tomorrow at Eden Prairie High School to help students cope with Hussey's death.
Our look at the world tonight begins with a bizarre mid-air collision between a skydiver and the plane he was jumping out of. The collision caused the plane to crash, killing 4 people. It happened in Northampton, Massachusetts. That's in the western part of the state. The skydiver somehow hit the plane's tail, sending the craft into a spin and crashing onto an airport runway. All the people on board the plane died, but the skydiver survived with only a broken ankle. The former Yugoslavia is the site of a fiery plane crash. A passenger jet with 116 people on board slammed into the side of a mountain. All but 1 person died in the disaster. The jet took off from Switzerland, then was rerouted because of a blizzard. The crash and the resulting explosion littered the mountainside with bodies and luggage. And in Tulsa, Oklahoma, 9 people were shot early this morning outside a restaurant. Police still don't know what sparked the gunfight. One of the assailants was armed with a high-power rifle. 4 of the victims remain hospitalized tonight in critical condition.
What if? That's the question most often asked about Jack Kennedy. Coming up next, some famous Minnesotans reflect on the time they spent with the president. We'll have a special report.
And a little later, it's big, it's shiny, and it's bizarre. We'll take you inside Minnesota's newest museum.
And how many of these guys will be calling in sick tomorrow? Some local snow buffs take a bitter dip.
Inside a contemporary sedan, you'd expect a driver's seat to be tuned for greater support. It would recline and have lumbar adjustments for even greater comfort. And in a car this thoughtful, you might even expect to find a convenient place from which to conduct business. But this interior can't be found in any car. A car just couldn't handle the workload. New Dodge Ram, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year.
How well you see is our first concern. We also care about how you look. We're Walmart's Vision Center, with everything you want in eyewear at a low Walmart price every day.
You can see the savings.
Quality frames to suit your style, a professional staff, precision equipment, and your satisfaction guaranteed. Walmart's Vision Center. Any way you look at it,
We've got what you're looking for.
Walmart. Always.
Gift shopping for the handyman is easy at Menards. Ryobi has a large selection of tools for under your tree. This detail sander works great in tight spaces, just $35.94. Cooper tools make excellent stocking stuffers. Choose from hammers, snips, wrenches, and solder gun kits. This 25-foot tape measure from Lufkin is $6.77. Menards has quality brand-name tools for your gift list.
Warm season's greetings to you all from Menards.
The smart choice, Chevy S Blazer. The smart lease, $299 for 24 months, only for a limited time. Hurry to your nearest Heartland Chevy Geo dealer.
It'll be 30 years ago tomorrow, November 22nd, 1963, that American history was forever changed.
That, of course, is when an assassin's bullet ended the life of John Fitzgerald Kennedy. All this week, Americans will pause to remember both the man and the legend.
Tonight, Randy Meyer has a special report on two Minnesotans lucky enough to be part of Camelot.
In a world at peace, I would look to the future with ever-increasing confidence.
It's been said that John F. Kennedy's life ended with an assassin's bullet long before his dream for this world and its people could be fully realized.
We are not here to curse the darkness. We are here to light a candle.
But despite a presidency cut short by his death, Kennedy himself did light a candle in the lives of millions of Americans, including two Minnesotans who were touched in different ways by JFK. Skip Humphrey is one.
The vision that he gave to people, he really set forth a dream for the country to go forward with.
John F. Kennedy's words taught a then young Skip how to dream politically. Growing up the son of a powerful U.S. Senator from Minnesota, Skip knew JFK. His dad, Hubert Humphrey, was a friend, and in the end, a close political ally of Kennedy. During that era, Skip was a college student at American University in Washington, and he often found himself living the history that most of us only read about.
The inauguration speech on a rather cold and dreary day. It was very damp and wet and just above freezing. But when he gave those words out, you know...
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
There isn't a week that it goes by that I don't think about that challenge that President Kennedy gave me and gave every citizen in this country.
But the president also gave Skip Humphrey something else, a bit less historic, but on a personal level just as meaningful.
On my 18th birthday, my father was he had a raincoat on or something like that, and he drew down into the pocket and he said, "Here," he said, "you better keep this. I got this from the president the other day. It's a birthday wish to you. He's going to be president. This man's going to be president." And this is the little statement. It says, "To Skipper, with best wishes for the future, from his friend, John Kennedy." Now, it's all kind of creased and everything because my father had carried it for a couple of weeks and hadn't been able to see me. He had been out working on the campaign trails and everything, but this is something very special.
And then there's another man, a Minnesotan who achieved our state's highest office and then was asked to serve President Kennedy as his agriculture secretary. But former Governor Orville Freeman didn't talk to me about the inspiration he got from JFK, though it was there. Now, Orv, like so many others that worked very closely with the president, remembers the pain and still feels the pain over losing such a great man.
Orville Freeman, now 75, gave Kennedy's nomination speech at the Democratic National Convention in the summer of 1960. He was sworn in as Kennedy's Ag Secretary in January of '61 and could be seen standing over the president as JFK signed his first major piece of legislation, a farm bill, called the Feed Grain Bill. But it's an airplane trip to Tokyo, just a moment in time, when then Secretary of State Dean Rusk summoned Freeman to his private cabin that he remembers most vividly.
When I went into the private cabin that he had, he was white as a sheet. And he turned to me and said, "The president's been shot." And I said, "Where was he hit?" And he said, "In the head." Well, I said, "Maybe he's all right. I was shot in the head during World War II, and I'm all right."
It appears as though something has happened in the motorcade route. There has been shooting.
Governor Connolly was shot in the upper left chest, and the first unconfirmed reports say the president was hit in the head.
Then, all of a sudden, a voice came over the intercom. It was the voice of the Secretary of State. Excuse me. And he said, "The president is dead. God bless our country." Bing. It just hit us right between the eyes.
Orv Freeman's plane, of course, headed back to Andrews Air Force Base, and within a couple hours, Freeman had his first cabinet meeting with the new President of the United States, Lyndon Johnson.
But the story doesn't end there. I asked both men, what set John F. Kennedy apart from other great leaders that came before him or have come since?
He had that intangible thing called presence, called leadership.
If you dream just a little bit, and that is what President Kennedy gave at least me and I think a lot of people that grew up in that era, he expressed some of the dreams for the future of what could be if you worked at it.
Now, Skip Humphrey, of course, is ready to run for his fourth term as Minnesota Attorney General.
As for Orville Freeman, he served as Agriculture Secretary until 1969, and today he works for a Washington, D.C. law firm.
Well, get ready to ride the Mercury Express. Meteorologist Jim Guy's forecast includes lots of cold air and some snow.
Plus, it's definitely yard, and some think it's definitely ugly. We'll take a tour of the new museum. Stay with us.
Some people still believe that to get quality, you have to buy an import. Well, this is the Eagle Vision TSI, an American sports sedan with a 24-valve, 214-horsepower engine, even driver and front passenger airbags, all at a price that's lower than a lot of imports. But if you just have to drive a car that's imported, you can buy a Vision in Germany and have it shipped home.
See your local Jeep and Eagle dealer for the best in automotive sales, service, and value.
It's this year's record-breaking brand name sale at Slumberland Furniture. More markdowns on more famous brands than ever before. 50% off all Italian leather by Natuzzi, the world's leader. Incredible savings on bedrooms by Bassett. Remarkable prices on futons by Simmons. Massive markdowns on the top mattress brands, including Sealy. Hundreds of recliners. Plus, guaranteed delivery the very next day on in-stock items. It's our biggest brand name sale ever, now through November 23rd, only at Slumberland Furniture.
The high cost of health care? Everyone has a part in keeping it down. So we took what you like about Walmart and what you want in a pharmacy and put it right inside your Walmart store. The result?
Walmart's pharmacy department.
With professional service and the low price on every prescription.
So next time, bring it here.
Or ask your doctor to call.
Walmart's pharmacy department, your full-service pharmacy, right inside Walmart. Always the low price, always.
Most sport utility buyers say they need a lot of interior room. And everybody wants anti-lock brakes. A lot of people prefer push-button four-wheel drive. And that means that more people buy the Ford Explorer. It's got more of what you buy a sport utility for. And during 4x4 month, get a well-equipped Explorer with seating for 5, loads of interior room, and all the comforts of home for a very reasonable price. So see the Explorer at the Truck Authority, your local Ford dealer. It's everything you buy a sport utility for.
And Jim's here for weather. One of the most beautiful days we've seen, I think, in weeks.
It really was. It's gone.
Oh,
it's out of here. It's going to be a lot colder. The cold air continues to move into the state right now. Let's take a look at current conditions, and we'll talk about what's going to be happening as we head into the holiday week. It's down to 37 degrees. Relative humidity now is at 73%. The wind out of the northwest at 9. It has shifted around, and the pressure is rising. Look at the high for today, 50. 34 for the morning low. No rain or snow yet, but that's going to change within the next couple of days. The record high 67, record low 1 below, and sunrise tomorrow morning is going to be at 7:19. I mentioned the cold air moving into the state. Let's take a look at state temps right now and look at International Falls at 18, Bemidji 19, and in the Fargo-Moorhead area it is 18 degrees, a little bit warmer as you head into the central and southeastern counties of the state. Projected high temperatures for tomorrow. This is a little scary. Look up to the north, up here. Parts of southern Canada, these are highs below 0 tomorrow, and look at how the temperatures just stack up right through the state. Single digits in the north, and then as you head down to the south, you run into the 30s, 40s, 50s, so forth and so on. So it's going to be cold, and it's going to stay that way, it looks like. Let's put the clouds into motion for you. Most of the cloudiness is along this cold front that's really cutting right through the central part of the state right now. It's going to continue to dive to the south, and I think the clouds will be on the increase, and the forecast weather map for tomorrow shows the cold air really entrenched right over this part of the country. And with that cold air, there may be a few flurries, a better chance for a little snow coming in here on Monday night into Tuesday morning. The AccuFi forecast now for overnight tonight, it's going to be mostly cloudy, overnight low around 26 degrees, and a pretty good northwest to northerly wind, 10 to 20 miles an hour. Now, on the drive-in tomorrow morning, mostly cloudy and 26, and then in the afternoon, we're not going to warm up much. I think we'll see about 30 degrees, cloudy, cold, a few flurries, northeast wind expected. And on Tuesday, not much better. Clouds, a few flurries, especially in the morning, and about 28. Now, on Wednesday, still cold, 23, and some clouds. And then for Thanksgiving, it looks pretty good. Some sunshine and 26 degrees. And then the next system begins to move in here. On Friday, increasing clouds, maybe a few snow showers on Friday, highs in the 20s. Overnight lows will be in the teens in some areas, I think, especially to the north of us, will drop into the single digits.
That extended forecast, though, is a little warmer than it was yesterday, so maybe it'll keep inching up.
Just a touch. The really cold air stays to our west for the next few days.
That's good news, at least. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Jim.
All right.
Many people have wondered if it looks this strange on the outside, what does the U of M's new art museum look like on the inside? Well, today the public was invited to a special open house to satisfy their curiosity. Hundreds turned out to tour the spacious new facility that's been in the planning stages for many years. It's a proud moment for the museum director.
So it says, it's right out there in front of everybody, and it says art is important and it's right in the middle of your life. And that's the sentiment we'd like to get across, too.
The museum is named after Frederick R. Wiseman, who donated $3 million toward the project. He's also promising to donate a substantial amount of artwork.
Well, sports is coming up next.
Now, we'll be right back.
Introducing the all-new GMC Sonoma. We've packed everything we know into this one, Sonoma from GMC Truck.
So, Harry, what could Sieben, Gross, and Von Holten do for me if I were hurt in a car accident?
Well, our attorneys will determine how to recover what's been lost. You might have rights to compensation for medical bills, lost income, even pain and suffering. We've been helping people protect their rights for 40 years. We have an expert staff and trained investigators.
So what's your advice to car accident victims?
Same thing we've always said. Know your rights.
If you've been injured, know your rights. Call Sieben, Gross, and Von Holten.
I always admired the way my grandpa farmed. You know, he was one of the first to get a farm all. And I guess that tractor was really something. It could do it all. Started a whole new era. Now it seems like we got another new era starting with this new Broad Strike weed control system. Broad Strike herbicide does for weed control what that farm all did for tractors. It makes it a lot simpler. Someday I'll probably be telling my grandkids I was one of the first to use Broad Strike.
Towsley Ford, the Northland's largest volume Ford dealer, has over 1,400 vehicles, all pre-discounted to give you our best price without negotiating. Everyone pays the same low bottom line price. Example, 93 special purchase Aerostar, extended vans with front and rear air conditioning, power windows and locks, and all this with savings over $8,000, starting at only $13,988. That's right, low mileage. Aerostar's as low as $13,988. And there's no hassling, no haggling, no headaches at Towsley Ford and Towsley Conversion Van Center, White Bear Lake.
I don't get it. Last week the Vikings go to Denver and they supposedly didn't have a chance and they win. Tonight they go to Tampa. They're supposed to be a cakewalk and look what happens.
Not good news. Let's go to Joe Schmidt. He's getting ready for Sunday Sports Wrap for the details. Joe?
Outplayed, outcoached, and they belonged in the outhouse tonight. Boy, was that ugly. The biggest fear the Vikings had going into the game tonight was a letdown. That added to the fact that Tampa was playing their first and only game of the year on national TV, so they were pumped up. This game had upset written all over it. A horrible night for the Vikings in Tampa. First quarter, Tampa with the blitz, and Sean Salisbury has the pass batted and intercepted by Marty Carter, and the Vikings got into the end zone before the end of the first half to make it a 7-6 game. But Tampa turned the game around with the first series in the second half. Salisbury thought Chris Carter was going to be looking. He wasn't. Milton Mack was. He went in for the score. Then in the fourth quarter, the Bucs went up by 13. Craig Erickson had a great game hitting Horace Copeland here, who punched it to the 1-yard line, and the Bucs win it 23-10. Right after the game, Eric Giselson was on the field for some Viking reaction.
Joe, with linebacker Carlos Jenkins after what has to be a bitter pill to swallow, Carlos.
Yeah, it is. You know, we came out here with high expectations and just didn't work out for us tonight in any aspect.
Was it flatness? Was it a big win last week followed by a...
I don't know what it was, to tell you the truth, but all I know is we didn't put it together, and they played a hell of a game. That's why they came out with the victory.
Can you guys dig yourself out of this hole?
Hey, we have to. If anything comes to work, we got to just go back and work. That's all we've been doing to pull ourselves out of the holes before. That's all we got to do.
Thanks, Carlos.
All right.
Joe, we'll have more coming up on Sunday Sports Wrap, but for now, let's go back to you.
As Eric said, we'll have more coming up in a few minutes on the Wrap. Eric will be back live with us from Tampa, plus Chuck Foreman is live in our studio. The Wrap is coming up next. Now, the Central Division could turn into one of the best races in football. The Packers tightened things up today with a win over the Lions in Milwaukee. The Packers trailed by 1 in the fourth when Brent Favre hit Mark Clayton on the run. He goes 33 yards to set up Chris Jackie's fourth field goal of the game. The Packers added this Edgar Bennett touchdown, his second of the day. The Packers are now 6-4, one game behind Detroit after they beat the Lions 26-17. The Chicago Bears are also playing good football right now. They're doing it with defense. Today against the Chiefs, Jeremy Lincoln intercepted this pass deep in Kansas City territory. That set up Neil Anderson to score the winning touchdown. The Bears win their second straight, 19-17. Chicago's now 5-5, the same record as the Vikings. Now, the Cowboys continue to prove that they need Emmitt Smith in their lineup in order to win. Now, after winning 7 straight with Emmitt in the lineup, Dallas lost today after losing Emmitt on this play. Smith on the left-hand side of your screen went down with a bruised thigh. Emmitt left the game. He is listed as doubtful for the Cowboys game on Thanksgiving. The flashiest play in the game for the flashiest player, Deion Sanders, goes 70 yards for the score. The Falcons knock off the Cowboys 27-14. Last week, the Broncos blew a big lead against the Vikings. This week, they did not. John Elway had 1 touchdown pass and almost another when he hooked up with Shannon Sharp from 64 yards. Sharp fumbled, but fellow Bronco Derek Russell was there for the touchdown. The Broncos crushed the Steelers 37-13. Elsewhere, Cincinnati loses their 10th straight, the Jets over the Bengals. Buffalo over Indianapolis. Miami 17-13 over New England. It was the Giants over Philadelphia 7-3. The Raiders beat San Diego. The Oilers win their 5th in a row with a 27-20 win over Cleveland. And the Rams get by Washington and Rich Gannon 10-6. Professional golfer Heather Farr died today after battling cancer for 4 years. Farr was courageous and very popular. She was the youngest player to ever qualify for the tour at 20 years old. 20 other pro golfers were at the hospital when she died. Heather Farr was 28 years old. The Gopher basketball team is heading to the Big Apple tomorrow, trying to win their second NIT title in 8 months. Vashawn Leonard, who was the MVP in last year's postseason NIT, says this is the only time the Gophers want to play in the NIT this year.
We like to just keep it at 2. We're going to try to win maybe 3, maybe 10 years from now, but for right now we're going to try to win this second one and then maybe the NCAA championship.
The Gophers will play Kansas on Wednesday night, and Mike Binkley's alma mater is going down.
No, they're not. Go Hawks.
Going down.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. Well, call them crazy and call them cold.
Yeah, some local ski buffs take the plunge in an effort to help the needy. We'll explain when Eyewitness News continues.
This is a message from MCI.
For millions of people who travel.
If you have this card, you know what earns you Northwest Frequent Flyer miles when you fly.
Now there's a way to earn those miles when you're not flying.
All you have to do is do what you do anyway.
Make long-distance calls.
With MCI.
While you're saving money calling long distance.
You'll get 5
Northwest Frequent Flyer miles for every dollar you spend with MCI.
MCI is the only long-distance company that lets you do that. That's the good news.
The better news is you earn a 500-mile bonus when you join MCI.
The best news is it's free.
And so is the toll-free number you call when you sign up.
A home is memories, where you can see yesterday as clearly as today. Nobody values your home more, and nobody deserves your trust more than Edina Realty. A family tradition since 1955.
We at Oldsmobile owe you an apology. Our Bravada beat the Ford Explorer in a test of acceleration and traction. But the test wasn't quite fair. You see, to keep it close, we made the Bravada haul an 800-pound boat. It gets worse. Now the prices aren't close either. The Bravada Special Edition's over $4,000 less than the Ford Explorer Limited. Can you ever forgive us? It's your choice.
Finally tonight, we're only days away from Thanksgiving, but today, as Jim Guy told us, it got up to 50 degrees.
Yeah, but for most of us, that's still not warm enough to take a swim in a lake. These wild and crazy people waded into Lake Calhoun today to raise awareness for the world hunger problem. They're known as Skiers Against Hunger. For the past 16 years, they've raised nearly $500,000 for local food shelves. Usually when they do that, there's snow on the ground. They got kind of lucky this year to some extent.
Glad they did it today and didn't wait for tomorrow, I think.
Still a tough thing to do. Well, that wraps up this edition of Eyewitness News. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, have a good night and stay tuned for Sunday Sports Wrap.
Faucet is just